What's going on, guys? Rods Over Bricks here. So, I made my very own Brompton bicycle using a free girls bike off of Facebook Marketplace. And, well, it's not really a Brompton, it's a Compton. But with just a little bit of welding, a barbecue part, and a door hinge, it does Brompton things. So where we left off in the last videos, I made the frame fold, and now we can go ahead and expand the whole thing. You saw how I built the latch. The seat post is pretty self-explanatory. And then we go ahead and just raise the handlebars up, clamp that down, and from there, we're ready to ride. And in real time, without practice, that was about, 15 seconds or so. And it rides quite well. Now, I am only 5'8", so this bike fits me pretty well. For someone that was taller, they'd probably want to start with like a 20-inch or maybe lengthen the frame a little bit. Anyways, the handlebars, they're nice and vertical. They keep me upright. Oh, that's right. I didn't cover the handlebars yet. Here they are. So as per usual, the sawzall came out, and I'm cutting apart the one-piece bar and stem combo that came off another little kid's bike. And I'm cutting it pretty far away from the center of the stem. From there, we've got the stem, a seat post portion from another bicycle, a seat post, and the handlebars. That'll be the sliding piece. I gotta grind off some of the weld there. I'm gonna put a fish mouth on this, and put a small fish mouth on that. And with just a little bit of work from the flapper disco, we can go ahead and get a nice little fish mouth that fits really nice against that seat post tube. From there, I'm going to go ahead and get the cutting wheel out and just cut off what remains on the seat post tube from another donor bike. And once that's all cut off, I'm going to go ahead and take the flapper disco and make sure everything's nice and smooth and get some fresh metal ready for me to weld to. And just like always, I'm going to go ahead and give it a tack or two and just take a step back and make sure everything looks nice and straight. And then once I was happy with the alignment, I got it all welded up. And I'm going to use a tape measure here. And then while I finish up the welding, I'm going to play a little musical montage. Well, it's not really much of a montage. I just don't have much more to say on this part. So here's a crappy song while I finish this up. Alright, well, that was terrible, and that was plenty fun. Anyways, back to the riding. Well, I hope this bike serves as good inspiration. You know, if you're short on funds and you don't really want to spend the $400 or $600, whatever it is, for a used Brompton, well, you could very easily build your own Compton. And the ultimate price that I have into this thing, including like the really crappy chrome wrap that you see on the chain guard, and some other little bits and bobs, I probably have $30 into this thing. $35, including the inner tube it needed. But I think it turned out really, really good. So to fold it up, we do the seat post down like that, go ahead and move over our latch, push down the handlebars and turn them to the side, and from there, we can go ahead and just fold this thing right up. And of course, being unfolded, as you saw earlier, we just latch it, pull up the handlebars, make sure they're straight, get that all clamped down, and the seat post, again, we just loosen it, raise it, and tighten it back up, and we're ready to ride. The ride itself is actually pretty darn good, even though it's a pretty short wheelbase. I'm very, very happy with it. It's pretty light. I haven't weighed it yet, but I'm thinking it's probably maybe 25 pounds or so, 22 pounds. It's not bad at all. But I hope this is good inspiration, so if you guys have a need for a folding bike, but don't have the money for a Brompton, a Compton can be built very easily with just a few things off Amazon, which is really just the latch, and you can even get the door hinge if you wanted from Amazon, and a little girl's bike. And I did finish this one off in the proper English green, and I made sure to get the chrome Compton letters. That way it kind of goes with the whole English theme. Although it looks like the Soviets built this one. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you haven't seen the first part of it, go ahead and check it out. I think it's pretty interesting, and you guys might take a liking to it. But if you don't feel like going back and checking it out, I understand. We went to Home Depot, got some hinges, and very accurately made cuts with a whole bunch of measurements first to make sure we split this bike into half. And then we got some 1/8" thick metal plate and made the bottoms of some small shoes. We welded them onto each side of the bicycle that we cut in half. From there, we had 2 flat planes. Then we just needed to put a door hinge in the middle. Now I did just spot weld it here in this part, but I did finalize the welds and weld it on each side of the barrels. That way the pin doesn't flex. We used one of those little latches from Amazon, which is apparently a barbecue lid type thing, or something for like a utility trailer door in the back. Either way, it was rated for 400 pounds, and I think that's going to be far exceeding what I'll ever be putting this thing through. So with that, just a whole bunch of welding happened, and I took it out for its first ride prior to making the handlebars, and it worked out quite well. It actually folded up pretty good. I probably should have changed the angle that the hinge is at. That way both tires are parallel with each other when it's folded. But here you can see how I welded the door hinge. And it seems to be really strong. It's not flexing at all. This little latch here is plenty strong and very adjustable. So with that, it was time for a couple little test rides, and I wound up just taking the bicycle back apart and very hastily spray painting it. I didn't even sand the thing, and that's where we are now. And that's kind of what this whole channel is about. You know, I know it does cover some RC car stuff, some automobile stuff, and of course the bicycle stuff. But it's all about trying to figure out a better way to do something, even if it's ugly or considered cheap or not really the right way. We're still going to build a product that's fun, it's unique, and, you know, something that the Joe Blow out there can build. And I think that's really important because this is all just basic minimal stuff. You know, if you've got a welder and a cutoff wheel, this is definitely something you could build on a super, super tight budget. And that way everyone can partake in the fun of creating something and crafting something and just getting out there and getting your hands dirty. And once you spend the investment on getting yourself a welder and a couple of basic tools, it's just an addiction at this point that just takes over and you start making so much stuff. Which is great because the more things you build, the better you're going to get at it. You know, and there's no educational place that can teach this kind of stuff unless you are just doing it with your hands on, you know. I never went to school for any kind of engineering or welding or anything of that nature. Everything is just, I picked up a rattle can and learned how to paint. I picked up a welder and learned how to weld. You know, albeit I am not very good at either one of these things, I am adequate. I can make metal stick together safely, as the suspension in my off-road Mustang has proved over its last 100,000 miles and 15 years of abuse. And you work your way up to these things. You know, a lot of people get daunted by, you know, well, if they pick up a welder, they have to be this master welder. It doesn't matter. Just get some scrap metal, make sure it's relatively clean, stick it together, and if you do it wrong, you'll know. And if you do it right, well, you'll know too. And of course on YouTube there's tons and tons of people on here, I'm sure, with a tutorial for just about everything, which is so fantastic. And that leads me to this channel, is hopefully people are using my channel as a tool or inspiration to go out there, buy something cheap, throw a few bucks into it, and have yourself a wonderful time, and hopefully learn something valuable along the way. Because even if I just inspire one of you out there to go out and purchase a welder if you don't have one, and try to use it for your first time, well, my job is complete here. Because I'm not very funny, and I don't have very good video editing skills, so if I could just spread a little bit of knowledge, I think that's the best thing I can do. So go out there and get your hands dirty and try to learn something, and if you don't know it, just feel free to comment on the channel. I always try to read and respond to them. And if you have questions about a project, whatever it is, I've done a lot of things and I might be able to help. Maybe I won't be able to. As always, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.